All right, everybody, make some noise for Laura Vandervoort.
Hi.
I'm filming you, you're filming me.
I'm filming you.
Whoa, wow, it's a whole
guys.
other dimension.
All right. Where do I
Cool.
sit here?
Yeah, let's...
I wanted to see what clips you were watching, but I couldn't even tell from the vocals what show that was. Was that Smallville? Or?
Yeah, there's a little of everything. We ended
So
up with
long
some bitten at the end. It's good, it's good.
Good.
Cool, cool.
How you guys doing?
Amazing. So you've been like all over the place, which is very...
So have you.
Well, we saw each other in Hamilton, and you went off to Paris.
Yes.
Which is very cool. How was that? You a little reunion with the Smallville guys out there.
Yeah, we did a Smallville reunion. My first time in Paris. It was great. Tom and Michael were there. Michael was crazy, per usual, and Tom was great, so it was fun. It's our first time doing a panel together. I don't think I got a word in.
Wow. How often do you see everybody from the show? Does that happen often, or is that kind of a unique thing? Is that the first it's been in a while?
The three of us haven't been together in a while. I see Tom on occasion. That's about it. I see Kristen all the time in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
We go to the same Pilates class every morning, so I'm like, how's it going? Super weird.
And you've been shooting a ton of stuff. I know we first met, I guess it was in Hamilton,
yes.
Working on a new project, Rabid.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about that at all? What are you allowed to say about that?
You could talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
So I did a film called Rabid. It's a Cronenberg remake from the film from the 70s of the same name, and the Soska twins, Twisted Twins, directed it, 2 females from Vancouver, which was amazing. And we had a female DP, female camera operators, my first time having that many female crew members, so it was really, really nice to see that. And so it'll be out next year, yeah.
There's a little bit of there's the horror gore element as well in there. Is that something you're kind of I feel at home with at this point? Because you've kind of I saw you posted on Instagram all the gory things that you've done in your career and all the makeup and stuff you've worn. So I feel like you're pretty used to kind of having like blood splattered everywhere at this point, right?
I actually really like it. Is that weird? Is there something wrong with me? I mean, it's fun. It helps you with your character.
I feel like you should be lying on this couch and I should be just sitting in a chair being like, tell us more about. How does the blood make you feel?
Yeah, no, it makes me feel good.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it started with Bitten.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Carrie moments in that, and I posted one of those pictures this morning, or last night. No, this morning. Yeah. And yeah, with Rabid, definitely a lot of blood. And I just started a new Netflix series that we actually wrapped 2 weeks ago called V-Wars with Ian Somerhalder. So that'll be next year, that'll be out, more blood.
I mean, if you do a vampire show, you got to get Ian involved. I feel like that's a
it's sort of a must. He's producing it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, and you are a huge horror fan yourself. Every time you're going to the movies, it feels like you're going to like a scary movie. Yeah. What is it about the horror genre that you love so much? Is it something you've always loved growing up? Do you like to be scared?
I do, and then I really regret it after. But I don't know if you guys know what I mean. I love to go watch a thriller or anything of that genre, and then I go home and I'm like, why did I do that? But it's so, I mean, I watched Hereditary the other night by myself at home with my cat. And I kept looking over my shoulder behind the couch because I kept hearing things. And then it's the best. And doing Jigsaw, too, was my first time doing a horror film on the big screen. And the producers and directors, I met with them and they said, do you want to be on the other side of the, torture, or do you want to be a part of the torture? And I was like, give me the torture. I have issues, don't I?
Yeah, we're digging deep here. You're learning a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, you love blood and you love torture. Okay.
Just acting.
Great.
I'm just gonna state that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Acted torture.
Yes.
Okay. But with Halloween, literally in a couple days, and this is like the time that all the movie marathons are on, all the horror films. I was watching, was it Friday the 13th marathon this morning as I was coming to the con. What's your like go-to favorite horror film? Do you have like one of the OG scary movies that you like to watch maybe like every Halloween? Do you have something?
Yeah, The Shining.
The Shining, okay.
The Exorcist, the original.
Nice.
Actually, yesterday in my hotel room, it's not a horror movie, but Buffy, the movie was on. And I watched that just like, it's one of the reasons I got into martial arts. I saw that movie as a kid and was like, I need to be her. So yeah.
You're a Buffy fan. I saw you talking to Giles.
I know. I finally
back there.
spoke to him.
Yeah, you're like all nervous. You're like, I'm a big fan, Mr. Head.
Did you see me trying to be cool? And I asked him if he wanted to come on the panel with me. Like, will you be my best friend?
He's such a great guy, though. He's like
super cool.
Really Giles in real life. I feel like he's just such a warm person.
Yeah, I feel like he can educate me on my life. I feel like he's like my role model. Yeah.
I feel speaking of the kind of the horror sci-fi television stuff like Buffy, you kind of got your start in that world too. A couple shows that maybe if you guys got into the horror genre, you probably started watching, like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
That was that's going back a little bit.
Like one person.
Yeah, one person. Who didn't watch Are You Afraid of the Dark? Come on. Yeah. Are you even Canadian? If that's
peer pressure.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, I guess I gotta clap now.
I don't even know why I'm clapping.
So it's really been like a part of your life since the beginning. It's like you were, as a young actor, you were on those shows, which is probably a really cool experience to be a part of.
Yeah, and that's probably where it started for me, if I think about it. I mean, I loved Hocus Pocus and all of those, and I did a Disney movie called Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. So it kind of started there with Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark? Because I was 13 when I started acting. So that was really all I could do with the kid shows.
You had a love for blood then as well? I'm just trying to figure out your history here. I'm trying to analyze just to help you out.
Many doctors have tried.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out the origin of this love for blood. Yeah. Maybe then.
There wasn't much blood in the Disney stuff.
That's true.
They couldn't obviously do that.
That was my only complaint with Are You Afraid of the Dark? Should have been had hard R rating.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember doing a scene in Are You Afraid of the Dark where I'm being attacked by a giant papier-mâché ant. It's terrifying.
More blood. They're like, we can't do it.
Yeah.
And filming for you, you've kind of filmed all over, I guess, well, mainly in Canada. Do you notice a difference with being back in Canada? Is it kind of cool to kind of come and make projects in the hometown?
Yeah, I always want to be here. Yeah. I mean, I live in the States now, but I try to get as many jobs as I can in Canada. And V-Wars, which I said we just wrapped, was in Sudbury, Ontario, and Hamilton. And Bitten was Canada, Smallville was Canada, V was Canada. So, yeah, I try to just come home as much as I can.
I like how you live in the States, but then all the work. I feel like you should just move.
I'm thinking about it. I actually am. Yeah, and Trump.
Yeah. Oh.
It's time to go.
Well, I feel if you're gonna move to Canada, maybe Nova Scotia. What do you think? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Have you had time to explore? You've been here? Have you had the seafood? Have you been walking around? Have you been checking out the piers and the hills? I'm from Saskatchewan. I'm not used to the hills. I'm from Saskatoon, so I'm like, what is this? Why are my legs sore walking up the street? I'm like, oh, elevation. I'm getting dizzy.
Yeah. I saw your video in the rain last night, too.
It was raining sideways.
Yeah.
It was I'm glad that happened, actually, because I feel like I got the full experience now. Although I hear there's fog is common, I haven't really seen any fog yet.
See some nodding.
Yeah, a lot of fog here, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I have family here, too. Oh. So I was actually just here for a wedding at Dalhousie.
Oh.
Yeah. Not my wedding.
Surprise, everybody. There's an exclusive for you. We have some photos now.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have a lot of fans here as well that have questions for Laura. So if you have a question, we have a mic over there on the side, so you guys can start lining up over there, and let's get to some audience questions. But yeah, with Halloween coming up, do you dress up? Do you go out? Like, do you still do that stuff?
I would love to. In the past couple of years, I haven't been around for Halloween or in like a hometown where I would go out and do that. I might this Wednesday is Halloween, so I'm probably going to take my niece and nephew trick or treating. Yeah.
So if you were to dress up, what are you thinking? Like, do you like to do the? I mean, there's options.
It needs to be bloody.
It's got to be bloody.
I remember one year I did Little Dead Riding Hood. So that was fun. Yeah. Wow. This year I don't have a costume. I need to go grab something. My nephew's being Superman. He doesn't understand that he doesn't understand the relationship of me being Supergirl or who Supergirl even really is, and we're working on it. I'm trying to be cool.
People are gonna see you together and be like, she probably made him dress like that. Like, oh my God, classic Laura.
Awkward. But my niece is not Supergirl.
Oh, okay.
I have to work on that one.
Yeah,
I think she's like a bumblebee or something.
That's true. Okay, cool. Well, let's get to the audience. So let's go. Yeah, go ahead over there and grab the.
Hi.
Mic.
Hi. Oh, that's weird.
I know.
So I know that there's been a lot of talk about your work with horror, but I know you from Instant Star. And I just wanted to let you know that that show has shaped who I am as a person. And you and Alex Johnson and Christopher Turner, all of those people that worked on that show mean so much to me. And I don't really have a question. I just wanted to let you know that that show, like, I know a lot of people probably don't know that show, but it means a lot to me. So
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Can I give you a hug?
Oh my God, please.
Is that okay?
Okay, just talk amongst yourselves. We're just having a moment. Just having a moment over here. How everyone good though? Otherwise, everything's good. You guys have a lot of good. Yeah, it's good. You guys have a lot of pubs here. Any recommendations? I don't know. Oh, also the pub names, my favorite. There's some really amazing pub. I want to just have a pub so I can come up with a name for a pub. What's that? Your father's mustache. See? What is that? That's amazing. Oh, sorry, we're just having a conversation. Oh, welcome back.
Hi.
Laura's here, everybody. Okay. Hey. We're talking about all the pubs. There's a lot of pubs.
Oh
Did you
yeah,
know there's more
the Wooden
pubs?
Monkey too is a good one.
Your father's mustache is my favorite pub name so far.
Yeah.
Someone-
I saw that on the Google Maps when I was looking
more
for things.
pubs per capita than any other city in, I think, Canada or North America. I can't remember. I read the fact. Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. They tell me they're known for their pub crawls here, which I think is a true thing, right? A lot of pub crawls.
You have to do that in college.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you
Or all the time.
don't have to go that far. You can literally walk like 3 feet and hit 9 pubs, so it's great.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we were doing a panel. That's
Yeah,
right.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
sorry,
I'm so
sorry.
Canadian. I'm so sorry.
Sorry. See. Okay. Let's get some more questions over there. So let's go over to you.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Halifax. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to know, we've seen you as Supergirl in Smallville, and we've seen you as Brainiac, or one of the Brainiacs in Supergirl.
It's confusing, I
the
know.
show. So my question is, what do you like playing better, the hero or the villain?
Based on my issues, the villain.
So you are inclined to play bad characters and you like blood. Please lay down.
Yes. Help me, doctor. The villains are just so. I mean, I love playing Supergirl. Don't get me wrong. It was great, a great experience, and to always be able to say I played Supergirl is an honor. But playing a villain, there's just so much more you can do. You can add so much color to it, like the Joker. We love watching him and the crazy things that he does. You can't do that as Superman or Batman. You're just very solitude in the way that you perform, and as a villain, you can just be insane, and that's fun.
Yeah. Do you find villains can be a little more complex too? Because a lot of times with great villains is, they are like the bad guys, but they always have these intentions that they feel
Redeeming
are
qualities,
good, or they're trying to do what they think is right, but it's just maybe perceived as wrong. So I feel like with villains, you can kind of dive a little deeper, get more in the headspace, have a little more fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little more complex.
Yeah, and with Indigo was the character I played on Supergirl. They didn't really talk to me about how to play her, which was great. Because I was just like, well, I'm just gonna do some weird stuff then. And I put the costume on, and once I had the makeup and the wig, she just sort of came alive in my trailer. I was playing with it, and I'm like, okay, she walks like a snake. That's what I'm gonna do. So you don't usually get those opportunities, It was fun.
You kind of let loose too, because I feel like in everyday life you kind of got to be like, the good guy. You got to keep it together. But with a villain, I think you can kind of like unleash and like it's kind of therapeutic maybe a little bit. Is it to kind of like let it out a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
have some
when
fun?
I
Scream at
find when
people?
I'm playing a villain, I'm swearing a lot in my head. When I'm playing, like if I was playing Kara, those things wouldn't even cross my mind because I'd be worried it would come out on camera somehow. But yeah, there's so much more freedom.
Cool. Very cool. Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you. All right, over to you.
Hey, it's my girl.
Hey. Okay, so I feel like I could sit here and talk to you all day. There's just so many things that you've said already where, you know how you said that, you go see a horror movie and you go home and go, hi. I do that all the time.
The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix is amazing.
I've been watching
the way,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. I watched it alone in the dark on the couch with several entrances for all the ghouls to come and get me. So that was really fun.
But they're usually underneath the bed or under the couch, and they will grab your toe.
Exactly, which is why I wrap my blanket underneath my feet, because then they can't get my toes. And also I have a black cat who just kind of appears, and his eyes reflect in the dark, which makes it super easy to sleep.
That's amazing. And then they actually did there was a scene in The Haunting of Hill House that terrified me, because I think we all have this thought when we go to sleep is, I mean, if your leg is off to the side or your hand, something's going to grab it, but it's the comforter being slowly pulled off of you. And they did that scene. I was like, oh, God, no. It's happening.
Actually, the day after I watched that episode, my cat did that with the comforter on the side of the bed. He was just like playing with it, because I moved my foot in my sleep, apparently. And he thinks it's playtime, so he started pulling at the comforter and knocking it off the bed. And then I woke up just...
Your cat is out to get you.
He is. He's super sweet, just not at night. It's terrifying.
Right. Well, that's when the demons come, so.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect. Witching
hour.
hour.
I hope everyone sleeps well tonight.
Yeah, good night, guys.
I can't wash my face in a sink anymore, because every time I look up at the mirror, I think,
yes!
I'm like, okay, I gotta do this. Please, God, be nobody behind me when I look.
That's what you expect.
Like, oh, yes. There's someone gonna be there.
I have that exact same thought, and when I'm in so many different hotels, you're not used to the setup, and so many hotel doors, the bathroom door has a mirror on the back of it, so you start washing your face and you look up and you see the back of your head, but you think it's someone else, and...
Yeah. Remember the old mirror? A lot of places don't have them now, but the mirrored like medicine cabinets that would hang, so you could open that, and then when you close that,
someone will be right behind you.
Always behind you.
Yeah, with like a death stare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horror movies ruin our lives. This is what happens.
But they're so good.
But they're also amazing. But I just like to be scared, so that's also cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did have a question.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
No, that's totally, that's my bad. I could just sit here and chat
cool.
all day. Okay, where is it? There it is. Okay, so when you were on the set for Supergirl, was it cool, interesting, different to be seeing another Supergirl? Like, did you ever sit down with Melissa and have like a conversation about that, or did it ever cross your mind? Or you just really enjoy being evil that you didn't think about it?
It was a little strange going on to the set, and but I did have fun playing the villain. And Melissa was so busy, I didn't really get a chance to sit down with her at times. But I think I've told this story before. I did go, because my Supergirl never wore the cape. So I went into the wardrobe trailer.
Oh.
I found her cape, and I put it on.
Yep.
And then I quickly put it back and left. So, yeah.
Nice.
Wow, you should have taken it.
I thought about it.
Have you done that ever on a
I
project?
keep sinking into this couch
know.
lower and lower. I'm too comfortable.
Have you ever worked on a project where you've maybe taken a little piece of that home at the end of the day?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Anything cool from like Smallville that you ended up walking away with?
Smallville. I have Kara's Kryptonian bracelet.
Cool.
And a piece of kryptonite.
Cool.
From Bitten, I took our tea kettle. So why not?
And did you not take a couch?
I took a couch.
And a bed? Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that from the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Is there something wrong with that, Tanner?
Normally people are like, oh, I took like the bracelet from the wardrobe. You backed up a truck, and you took full pieces of furniture.
Full on heist.
I think we have the premise for like Ocean's 14. Is that where we're at right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will do that.
Ocean's 14. We have just you backing up a truck and stealing furniture off a set. That's amazing.
There's nothing. I sat on those couches for 3 years. My butt was imprinted into it. I considered it mine.
I mean, hey, if you're gonna go, you go big or go home. So take everything.
I just went big, yeah.
Yeah, you just took the whole set. Wow.
I did fight Greg Brick over the couches, though. He definitely wanted those.
Where are the couches now? Do you still have these couches?
In a rental place that we're staying in Toronto.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So
and the guest bed is Elena's bed in the basement, so anytime anyone wants to come and sleep in Elena's bed, I can get Grayston in there for you, too, if you'd like.
Wow. That's a really cool B&B idea right there.
Yeah. Clayton Danvers included.
Sign me up. Okay. All right, back to the audience. We have a question over there, so go ahead, sir.
I was just wondering, well, first off, welcome to Halifax. Glad
Thank
you're here.
you.
Just wondering if you had a favorite role that you would ever wanted to play, never been offered, but wanted to play of all time, or if you had somebody you wanted to act with, like if you had a choice of who you would act with, no questions, like drop the beat.
Well, I've always wanted to play Catwoman.
Fair,
So
fair.
maybe one day. Suicide Squad, Harlequin. But well, you're Canadian. You might know him. Gordon Pinsent. He's a
Okay.
Newfoundland actor. Yeah.
Nice.
So he is my grandmother's cousin. He's a relative, a third cousin or whatever you want to say. And I've always wanted to work with him. He's been a mentor. When I started acting, I wrote letters to him, and he would respond and tell me how to behave on set and being polite and all of that. And my first job on Goosebumps, he rolled up in a golf cart to come and meet me in my trailer, gave me all my tips. I was so nervous. And yeah, so I'm developing a movie right now, actually, hoping to just have him in it and cast him. So that's the plan. And then obviously Meryl Streep, which is might be a little more difficult.
Never know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be a great Catwoman. Yeah.
I
We should
would-
start
I
that
mean-
petition online. It was like, can we like a Kickstarter? I don't know. Let's do something.
Yeah, Kickstarter.
Something.
They probably aren't even going to do another Catwoman movie.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. They're always thinking of like redoing these,
That's true.
these franchises and things. And there's talks of recasting right now with Batman and stuff. So you never know where there's going to be like.
Recasting.
Well, I think apparently like Jake Gyllenhaal, and there's like talks Ben Affleck maybe out of it, and Henry's maybe done with Superman. There's all kinds of rumors. Who knows? We'll see.
Let's
You
start our
You
own
never
rumor.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think or you never know, she could appear, and there's this, they shoot Suicide Squad. They shot the first one in Toronto. Maybe there'll be a
Yeah.
Catwoman cameo in the next one. I don't know.
I mean, I like the way you think.
I think we should start it, guys. I think you start talking on Twitter, get that going. Hashtag, I don't know, Laura for Catwoman. Is that
They'll think of something more
something
creative.
cool?
Yeah.
Let's get that going. Is there a superhero though growing up that you like really resonated with you? Is that kind of was it Catwoman? Because I know the old Batman show. Was it Supergirl? Anything like that? Were you into that world growing up?
No.
No?
When I actually auditioned for Supergirl for Smallville, because I have to clarify which show. I didn't know who she was, and I know that's horrible, but I thought it must be his sister. Maybe this is my chance to like make out with Tom Welling. No, we're cousins. So I didn't have that much knowledge about the superhero world growing up, and I would have to say if there was someone on television that was my idol, it was Sarah Michelle Gellar in Buffy. Yeah. Other than that, there wasn't anyone that really.
They're doing the Buffy reboot, I think.
They
Is that
are.
the
It's been
plan?
cast. Yes.
Is it?
Did I hear a?
Anything you want to tell us? No.
Not me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Boo.
Aw, thanks, guys. This is like a therapy session.
Yeah. All right, let's go over to you. Go ahead. Oh, you came to the right place. Look at
Supergirl.
I was just wondering, did you think that they were gonna cast you in the new Supergirl or not?
I actually I mean, during the time that they were casting, I was on Bitten. So I was contracted to Bitten for 3 years, possibly 5. So when they did the casting, I hadn't heard about it. They didn't approach me, and I think the reason for that is it's a new generation. And my generation had me as Supergirl, and young, beautiful ladies like yourself need a new version of her, and I think that was a great idea. And you don't want to mix the cast, because I've played her, and it was time for someone to have an opportunity to play her as well. We had Helen Slater. I'm sure, have you seen Helen Slater in the?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How old are you?
I'm 11.
Wow. Okay, that's great. So you're going to have 3 generations of Supergirl that you can look up to now.
Yeah.
And then hopefully down the road, the new generation will have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well,
You
thank
look amazing.
And talking about developing some new projects, is that something you've kind of wanted to do now? Do you want to kind of, keep acting going, but also maybe get more behind the camera? Is that kind of the direction you want to take things?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So the thing that I'm developing has been in development for over a year. So hopefully by next Christmas we'll be shooting it. It's a Christmas horror, of course. based on a true tradition that you'll most likely know, but I'm not going to say what it is now because we don't want someone to steal the idea.
Elf on a Shelf.
Elf on a Shelf.
Yes.
You're playing Elf.
But the elf comes to life. It's like a Chucky Elf
Yeah.
on a Shelf combination.
Yep, you got it.
That's actually a good idea. I'm gonna write.
Well,
No one steal that.
Someone's already got it now.
Oh damn.
But so I'm developing that. I'm also going to be directing a short next year, and I was one of the producers on Rabid. So, yeah, and I years ago was developing a kids series called Super Duper Delia. It's good. It's still going. It's hard to develop something these days. There's so much going on out there, but it was a superhero show for young girls. So, fingers crossed.
That's really cool. Do you notice the industry has changed since you've kind of got into it? Has it got tougher to get stuff out there? Is it easier? How has that changed?
Well, I don't know myself
Yeah.
because I just started doing
Yeah.
it, but I do know producers and directors who say it takes at least 5 years to get something even off the ground for people to look at it, just the script itself. So it's more patience than I'm used to as an actor. You sign on to something and, you know, a month later you're shooting it. As a producer and a writer, you're working on it for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and you don't even know if it'll see the light of day. But it's the passion that keeps you going.
True that. Okay,
Yeah,
we think
true
we have,
that.
Oh, we got true dat. All right, we got one more
Hi.
question over there. So go ahead.
Okay. Might be a bit of a weird question, but it kind of ties into what you just said about
I like
getting,
weird. It's
getting
good.
recognition. Comes with a bit of a preamble, actually. I have a son who just graduated Screen Arts, who's in editing, and another one who's currently taking Screen Arts, who wants to be a writer. And because of that, I feel like when I go to the movies, I have to stay in my seat until I've read every single name that goes, even if it's Craft Lady, Craft Services, or whatever, Best Boy, Grip, whatever. Is there anyone that you would like to just mention? I mean, everyone always knows the stars of things, but someone from behind the scenes, someone who's either meant something to you or an up-and-coming, somebody whose name you just want to get out there.
That's a lot of pressure. It's a great question. And yeah, I do thank you for sitting through the credits. I love when people actually do that because people who work the hardest are towards the end of the credits, which it shouldn't be that way. You have the best boy grips, you have our gaffers, and they're there longer than we are. They're doing literally the heavy lifting. There's a bunch of people in Canada that I've worked with over the years because I grew up doing this in Canada, so I've seen the same crew on many shows. The first person that comes to mind is Rick Darling, who's our props master. I've worked with him on like 5 shows, and he's always incredible. A little side story, V-Wars, which I can't say that much about, but it's about vampires. There was a scene where an actor, maybe me, had to drink blood, and maybe they didn't remember that that scene was happening and there wasn't any blood available to drink. So Rick, our props master, quickly whipped up this delicious red juice, and you know, it's always a quick pace, and he just makes everything happen. He's always on the ball. So that I would give a what up to Rick.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like if they needed blood, you probably just had some in your carry-on or something, knowing you. You're like, oh,
We're
I
not
got,
supposed to talk
I
about
got
that.
blood. You need blood? I got blood. Don't worry.
Well, maybe it wasn't me who was drinking
Oh,
it.
true.
Remember,
That's right.
I'm
That's
not
right.
saying anything.
That's right. Sorry. We did not confirm anything today.
No.
Don't tweet about it. Got it. Great. Oh, we have a question
Hi.
there. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. And what's your favorite superhero or villain?
My favorite who are your favorite Supergirls? I mean, that just came out. Who are your favorite superheroes or villains?
Mine's Wonder Woman and
Oh, okay.
Joker.
Yes. I have to agree with you on the Joker. That's probably my favorite villain. My favorite superhero is probably Wonder Woman as well. Did you see the movie?
Yeah.
Do you want to be Wonder Woman?
Yes.
You can be. Thank you for your question.
And my name is Sophie.
Thank you, Sophie.
Thanks, Sophie. Wow.
That voice.
Oh my gosh. Now, being a part of the superhero genre, do you ever sit there in your trailer and reflect on like if you had to have a superpower someday, what you would want to do? Because I feel like people always argue like invisibility or fly. Like, what do you think? Would you rather fly? Would you want to be invisible?
What would you want?
I mean, it depends on what you want. You know, flying the airfare alone, you save a lot of money. Being invisible has its perks as well. You know.
I think I would choose invisible at certain times of, the day.
Yeah.
Or where I am.
I mean, shooting lasers out of your eyes just seems not practical.
It's not
at
that
all.
handy. No.
No.
I mean, you could toast marshmallows really quickly,
Yeah. You get like a side gig as a welder, I guess. I don't know.
but yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to choose, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would just want a bit of everything and use it when I need it.
Yeah, that's true. Super
Like a Swiss
speed.
Army knife of powers.
Yeah, there we go. Let's make that happen. I mean, I think that exists, but all right. Anywho, 5 minutes left. Okay, we got one more question. So let's go over to you.
Hi there.
Hi.
With you not really having much knowledge of Supergirl before taking on the role, did you do much preparation for that? And when it came to your time working on the show, what was kind of the most enjoyable moment for you?
Research-wise, I Googled what I could, but everything was laid out in the scripts for me. I did ask all of my questions from the producers and the showrunner about her background and her history and suspended animation and everything I needed to know to lead up to where Kara on the show was starting from. And my favorite moments on the show, or
just from your time working on there, whether it was something that we saw on screen or something off.
Yeah, there was one scene in particular that I was shooting with Tom, and my many attempts as Supergirl to teach him to fly, which failed. We were shooting in the loft of the Kent farm. Actually, I have two stories, and Tom knows about this because I told him last weekend, and he's like, "That's great, tell everybody." So he would overheat quite a bit. He's a big guy, and the barn was very hot and with the lights. So oftentimes when I would do scenes with Tom and he was on camera, he'd ask what the frame was, so he knew what part of his body was in frame. And as soon as they said it was waist up, he would just drop his pants, take his shoes off, and put Birkenstocks on. So I'm trying to do the best job I can. It's my first, time on the show, the first season. And I'm just trying to keep my eyes level to his face, but like I can see in my peripheral, he's in boxers, socks with Birkenstocks. So he's like, and then I said, "Oh, I'll tell everyone you were Superman from the waist up." He was like, "Hey now, don't make them think anything else." So we would have moments like that, and then there was a scene where I'm supposed to teach him to fly out of the loft, and I didn't know that there was a pad down below. So my character's supposed to sort of nudge him towards the ends, and we would do that, and then he'd pull back. But in one take, he told the crew what he was going to do, and I had no idea. So I go to nudge him, and he actually fell out of the window. And I was like, "I'm fired, I killed Superman." And I ran over, and he was like, So we had fun things like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How often do you revisit past work? Do you ever do that? Because I know some people
Watch it?
Yeah, some people like to, if they're flipping through the channels and it's on, they stop and watch. Some people just like avoid that at all costs. What do you avoid that? You don't go back and go like, let's just go through memory lane for a bit. Nothing?
No one wants to see their puberty on camera.
Yeah.
Like if Goosebumps is on or Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, I'm just like, it's pain. It's like looking at your yearbook and going, why? Why did I do that? Why didn't I wax my eye? Unibrow. Wow, great.
Okay, fair enough.
I have so.
We're getting a lot out of today.
know.
So you have,
Yeah.
some issues with,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Like Jigsaw,
Yeah.
I saw in the
Yeah.
theater
Mhm.
once,
Yeah.
and probably won't see it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're traumatized by images of yourself.
Of myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
You love blood and fake torture.
We're learning so much.
We're updating your Wikipedia later, and it's going to be awesome. Okay, I think we have time for just a couple more questions. Maybe one more question, according to the person with the sign in the front row. Okay, one more
Kate,
question.
Kate, my awesome handler. Give it up. She's been awesome this weekend.
Yay. Thank you for that. All right. Well, let's go over to our last question. Go ahead.
Hello. What was it like to be Supergirl and like to fly?
Amazing. So my first week on this set, I didn't film anything, but they had rehearsals for me to learn how to fly. So we had a whole stunt team there, and they have harnesses that they... Actually, it was the first time they had sorted out how to do the flying thing on the show, and because Supergirl is both vertical and horizontal in her flying, we had to figure out the harness situation and how to, they're called picks, so it's just two like circular metal clips on each side of your waist and then one on the back for when you tip over. And you know, within a couple hours we had it down, and they have videotaped all the rehearsals, and I've posted them before. And then to actually get on camera, the trouble with that was hitting your mark, because you have marks on the ground so that you're in frame when you land. But it was great. I loved it. And growing up doing martial arts, I think, really helped me just with the stability and stuff like that. And yeah, now I fly.
Is it uncomfortable when they like hike you up and hoist you up in the air?
Some wedgies, yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah.
I imagine so. That's like, and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Seems like a fun experience. Cool. All right. Well, I
Thank
guess
you.
That's it. But you can check.
We can't end the panel on there's some wedgies.
No, there are some wedgies. What else? Well, what else do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Not wedgies?
Not wedgies.
I mean, I think that was a great note to end on.
Okay, all right.
You can
well,
start the Catwoman petition now. Go online. Also, you can see Laura coming up in Rabid and also V-Wars, so watch for that. And yeah, anything else you want to add? People can follow you on social media. What's your...
Twitter is Vandykins22, and Instagram is Super Vandy.
Super Vandy.
Yeah.
So you can keep up to date with everything she's got going on, because she is a very, very busy person. You're everywhere. So hopefully you come back to Halifax soon. Is that, yeah, I think I agree. You all agree? All right, well, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Give it up for Laura Vandervoort.
Thank you, guys.
Hal-Con!